Was built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on the gas, never stop competing. If you break my glass, then this life's gonna
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
All right, joining me tonight is special guest Tyis Boykin. He is currently a member of the Shoulda Been Stars. He's a wide receiver / super back is what they call it. One of the more versatile guys in the league, plays a lot in the passing game, in the run game. So definitely super excited to have him on tonight. How are you doing, Tyis?
I'm doing well. Thank you for that introduction. But I'm happy to be here. Happy to be doing the show with you. But I'm doing well. No complaints on this side. Blessed.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. So why don't you go ahead and give us a brief introduction to yourself, and then we'll go ahead and get into detail here shortly.
So brief introduction. Like you said, my name's Tyis Boykin. Religious background. I'm a Christian. I live up north. So I'm from Worcester, Mass. It's close to Boston. I went Division II for football. Family oriented. That's pretty much it, man.
Absolutely.
Love LeBron James.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I knew you were going to throw that in at some point. I saw that you were also a fan of Mike Vick, so I wanted to ask you about your take on him possibly coming and then ultimately not coming.
Yeah, so you know how as you grow up, you have like your favorites, and then over time, like they kind of change and stuff.
Yeah.
So Mike Vick.
Uh-oh. Seems we're having a momentary service issue on his end. He is obviously in Atlanta currently.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you came back real quick.
My bad, man. Some people
You're good,
be too
man.
loud. But
It's
I
all
was
good.
saying that. So like Mike Vick in '04 and stuff, like when you're younger, like that's just who you want to be as an athlete. You know, you're playing quarterback for Pop Warner, and then so seeing that he might come here, I'm like, wow, because I got to meet Julio a couple weeks ago, and that's my second favorite receiver ever.
Nice.
So like to be able to meet that, and then to meet like probably my first favorite quarterback ever, it would have been crazy. But like it was cool. But I mean, at the end of the day, like I want to win, so we would have played him. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so it's kind of like bittersweet. It's kind of let down when he didn't, but I also know why though. He hasn't played in a couple years. It's not easy to come in and just play tackle football.
Absolutely. I think he hung it up in like 2016, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's been
that's what he said.
years.
Yeah, like 5-6 years ago.
Exactly. So getting back to the point, getting back to the man at hand, Tyis Boykin. At what age did you start playing organized tackle football, and what inspired you to play the game?
Okay, so I was 7. So I played what we call Mighty Mikes up north. So some people call it Little League, but I played Pop Warner football, and I was walking by the football park with my dad, and the kids had already started camp, but like I was like, I want to play, and we walked over, blah, 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 and they're like, we're already like 2 weeks in, and usually that's how it is, like Pop Warner 2 weeks before the jamboree and stuff. So they're like, I don't know. So I was like, I just need a chance, basically. So when I was 7, they just let me practice once, and I tackled like the biggest dude first. Like, and then I think that was like what inspired it. So once I got that, I just was like, oh yeah, like I'm a smaller dude and I'm able to just go hit and stuff. You know, when you have energy as a kid, as a child, it's a great solution to it. So yeah, that's what inspired it.
Absolutely, that makes perfect sense. Keep you out of trouble.
Yeah,
Use
exactly.
that for something positive. So have you always primarily played offense? Apparently not, since you're talking about tackling guys.
So I've honestly, like I try to be like a Swiss Army knife. So in high school, I played offense, but I also played I played DB as well. I played safety, but I try to make plays at every level I go. I think I had like 4 picks, 4 forced fumbles in high school. Even in college, I had a couple chase down tackles and stuff. I had a few pump blocks. So I played gunner a little bit. So I always try to affect the game. I just try to get the ball somehow, try to out athlete the person across from me.
Absolutely. Makes a ton of sense. So you are often one of the fastest men on the field, no matter what level you have played at. Is this a trait you've always had, or is this something you developed later in life as you started running more track and playing more football?
Nah, I think I've always been I've always been fast. People always like wanted to like race me and whatnot. So it just getting back to get to that level after the ankle surgery and stuff. So like I'll speak about that more. But yeah, but that's always been something that helped me. I think my speed and my vision probably.
Absolutely. Your vision definitely pops on film. You see, like, it's almost like you can see or sense guys around you without even seeing them. It's kind of crazy.
I
Um,
appreciate.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you attended St. Peter Marian High School when you were younger, and from
Yeah,
what I found on this school, it was almost open for about a century. It shut down in 2020, correct?
yeah. They finally combined with like our rival private school.
Gotcha. Okay, so it didn't actually shut down; it's still going. It just
But
combined.
no,
Okay,
they chose the other building. So
gotcha.
technically, it shut down. They chose the other school's building.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That explains a lot. So I noticed that the school motto was "Through these doors walk the
Watch
greatest."
greatness. Oh dang, that's crazy. That really threw me back because when we would really walk off the bus, you would see that. That's kind of crazy that you brought. It's nostalgic, but yeah, I believe it. Honestly, we
Uh,
had some people go through there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, I was going to ask you. I mean, talk to me about how that mentality at the high school level has helped you develop as an athlete long term.
I think high school is humbling. You go from Pop Warner being that man, and now you're 14 years old and you got to play against 17 and 18-year olds. So you just have to you have to like reclaim who you are. You know what I'm saying? It's not given to you. You got to go get it, and it's humbling because you might play freshman ball, you might play JV ball, but you really want to just be on varsity. So you're willing to do whatever you got to, whatever it takes. And I played with some great people, so it was nice to have those role models, those people, those idol people that you can idolize in front of you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So during high school, you ran track and played football. Was football always going to win out over track, or how did that decision play out for you following?
Oh yeah, track was always like to help with football. I mean, I love basketball. I love basketball. Like I said, I love LeBron, but as a football player, sometimes you gotta make sacrifices. So you can't you hoop in the winter or you run track to get better for football. And if you love the sport, then you do what you have to. And so that's why I did track. I enjoy track, but track days are long. Those track meets are very long. I also did track in college for a little bit too.
I was going to ask about that. I couldn't find that anywhere, but I did notice that in high school you had quite a few records that are actually still standing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I think one that I know that I have is the 200 record, and honestly, in track, our coach was like our coach helped with it. We had an international student program, so like we would have like students from different parts of Asia come to school. So he wasn't really focused on track, so we were really teaching ourselves. So like
Gotcha.
I ran like a high 22, but like I think like if coach was there, I think it would have been like low 22s, high 21. But it was fun though. But I was basically coach captain.
Gotcha. Interesting. Interesting. So you kind of prefaced it a little bit ago. You played a bunch of different positions in high school. I saw that you actually listed quarterback on your huddle page. Did you actually play that in high school?
Oh yeah. So I mean, I threw what up, boy? So I threw 50 something passes my senior year.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's decent. So like that's like it was like 5 passes a game. So it's respectable. It wasn't. I played. I'm mainly a slot receiver, but like when I went back there, the quarterback, it wasn't just like every time he's back there, he's gonna run. Like I think I
Gotcha.
had like 6 touchdowns or something like that.
Okay. So were you like playing like a wildcat position, or was it just like, hey, this guy's, we're bringing him in because of his
No, like
athleticism?
I knew the offense. So like the offense really didn't change. It would just be like now we have the ability to just hike it and run if I wanted to. We did have a jumbo offense where we got to the goal line where I was quarterback, and that was just like get in the end zone somehow, some way.
Gotcha.
So,
Interesting.
but outside the goal line, I ran quarterback, but it would just be like if we was playing a team and it was like I would do better at slot against this team, then we would do that. Or if
Makes sense.
the quarterback, other quarterback was struggling, I'll come in. If I was struggling, he'll come in. So we had a dual threat. We had two quarterbacks, dynamic duo.
Gotcha. Interesting. I like that. I like that. Put the position or the players in a position to succeed and let them do the rest. So talk to me about your recruitment process and what led you to Assumption College.
So yeah, so that was a little different. I thought I was gonna go to Hotchkiss Prep. So it's a prep school up north in like Connecticut.
Okay.
So I wasn't as like pressed on my college. I was a little sad at first though because after I realized I wasn't going that, I wasn't getting the type of offers and stuff I thought I was gonna get because I did well in school, and you know what they say: do well in school, do well on the field, and it will come. So I remember one time I was in the car with my mom and I forget who else, and we were just driving, and I started tearing up a little bit because I'm like, oh, like I might end up like not saying anything's wrong with D3, but that's where I might end up, and I thought like I was gonna go higher or something. And as I'm like starting to like kind of get teary eyed, I get a call, and it's Coach Chesney, and he now coaches at Holy Cross.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're elite over there too. We he's a phenomenal coach. He's next up for sure, and he had offered me, so it was just like in that exact moment, it was answered. So it was kind of crazy.
That's awesome. So it was just kind of timing how everything fit.
Mm.
That's awesome. So during your time at Assumption, you were lining up opposite of a current NFL receiver in the
Yeah.
league and a man who is actually strikingly similar to your skill set as a player,
Oh
honestly.
yeah, Tay.
So how did Deontay finding success affect your confidence? Was it a good thing, as in like, hey, he made it, I can too,
Oh
or
yeah,
was
yeah.
it vice
Oh, I
versa?
mean, we also had another receiver who I'm not sure if you know, but his name's Ashton Grant, and he was a dog too. He had tryouts with
Okay.
the Chiefs and the Bears, so we had elite receivers, and but seeing Tay at like the similar height, similar play style, it's like in coming out of D2 because with D2 it's like you can make it, like you don't always need the D1 Heisman path. Like you can come from the small school if you really separate yourself, which he did in college. Then the league is attainable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So is that your ultimate goal long term?
Oh yeah, so my goal is like just to keep moving up. So as long as I'm moving up, as long as like I'm loving what I'm doing, then I'm gonna just keep striving because if you feel good, when like what you can do, and like okay, maybe it's time, and it's not time right now. So I just got to keep going. But my goal is to move up, get better, higher leagues, and hopefully, if that comes calling the trial or something, then we take advantage of that.
Gotcha. So with that being said, are you looking into the XFL showcases this upcoming summer?
Yeah, so we'll probably be doing the XFL showcase. So what happened was though it kind of waited long, looked at it and it closed out. So I'm on like the wait list, but that's where like hopefully my agent comes in, and then her knowing people that should be able to get me in, and then we'll be able to do those showcases. I also think that they might have some later because it doesn't start for so long,
I would think
but
so.
it's probably better to be one of the first names in there
Yeah, absolutely. It's
so
just
they can see.
more exposure.
Exactly. I'm hoping though that like we win it all here, and then it's like okay, who are these people? You know what I'm saying? And you get the exposure from here, and it's like okay, let's get them in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you. I can't believe I hadn't asked you this before this. I'm actually writing a list up for XFL News Hub about all the guys attending the showcases. I should have brought that up a long time ago.
Oh no, you're fine. Like I had looked at it, and then I was talking to my agent, and we was gonna just go back to it because I had figured that the last showcase might have sold out because excuse me, everybody wants to like work out the longest and stuff.
Yeah.
But it just have been with like the FCF and with everything that we do here on a nightly basis. It just lost track of time, and
No,
then
absolutely.
everything sold out at like once.
Oh yeah, that's actually something I've heard from a lot of players across multiple different backgrounds, whether it's the FCF or IFL or whatever it is. A lot of different guys didn't jump on it as quick as they may have had they realized it was going to be as popular as it was. But
Exactly.
unfortunately, it's one of those situations where there's just a lot of people trying to jump to the XFL right now. Unfortunately,
Of course,
or
yeah.
unfortunately, I guess.
It's eye candy for sure. You know, people they see that they hit XFL possible. You know what I'm saying? They're thinking like that could be right under the NFL, another league. But now you don't have to go to Canada, so you can see why people definitely jumped on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So during your time in Assumption, you started off with very solid numbers, playing in 8 games as a freshman. They were getting you comfortable and working you into the lineup. Your coaching staff included the man you talked about earlier, Bob Chesney. With him in charge in his second year with the team, you on the roster, your team was able to produce its first 7-win season in, I think, 2 decades.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Talk to me about what that accomplishment meant for you as a student athlete at that time.
So student athlete, so like I think I made honor roll. I think I made honor roll like every year I was there. But to be a part of something like that was because even though we went seven, I think we lost like a couple games by like I think we lost like 2 games by like 1 point and 1 game by like three. So not saying that we were like the best team in the conference. Not saying that we were ready, but we definitely competed. Like it wasn't like we could have easily been a 9 win team, you know. But being a freshman and it was more like I played early because of injuries. So like I said, two of the receivers that were ahead of me got hurt, and I had to go play like against New Haven, which was like a good team as a freshman, as an 18-year-old, and then yeah, so that really just was like okay, I could do this,
That's
and it was fun for sure.
that's awesome. That's awesome. During that 2014 season, under the guidance of offensive coordinator Paul McGonigal,
McGonagall. Yep.
thank you. Your offense led your conference in many categories, including 2 numbers that particularly stuck out to me. Your offense averaged 14.4 yards per completion and scored on 83% of their red zone trips. Um, what kind of effect has Coach McGonigal had on your career as a wide receiver?
So Coach McGonagall was more like college. You learn like I think it was after the game. So after the game, we would watch the film as a group, and now it's like they bring everything to light. So if you didn't make that block, if you were lazy on that play, if you didn't win the turnover battle, if you did, you know what I'm saying? All those things that he brought to light, it showed you that like everything is really being watched. Like we're critiquing everything, so you have to come with it every play. So just that eye, like that eye, that eye in the sky type mentality was like I got to make sure I do my role, I do my job, and he treated everybody fairly. Like if you missed lift or something, it didn't matter who you were, what name you had. You know what I'm saying? Like you was gonna pay, you was gonna reap the consequences.
Absolutely. So kind of that Bill Belichick mindset where everybody do your job, focus on your role, and we'll succeed as a team type deal.
Yeah, exactly. And he laid out what we need to do, and we knew he was gonna score, and we knew we had a defense that was gonna stop him. So we do our part, they do their part, and we'll be successful.
Interesting. I like that. I like that a lot. In 2015, your sophomore season, McGonigal and Chesney really start to find your role on the team. In 12 games, you had 19 offensive touchdowns or touches, sorry, for 198 yards and a touchdown. You also got in on both kick and punt return units, as well adding another 52 yards. You also directly helped your team to an 11-2 record, which was the best record in almost 3 decades. I mean, how did this could feel to continue building on your personal and team success on a year-to-year basis?
So yeah, so that year it was more like I said once again. I think New Haven might have been the best team in the conference when you look at paper. I think they had brought in like 20 like Division 1 transfers or something, but we just played as a team. It was attention to details and stuff, and it was just knowing your role again. I would come in the game and it would be like third and six, and it'd be like, okay, we need a slant or something. So move the chains. So it's like, okay, you come in, you got to catch the rock. So that basically was my role. Like I come in, move the chains, and then it's like they go and finish it off. So it felt good to be a part of a winning team and to the way to win the championship the way we did. We went on like a running back pass.
That's
So like
awesome.
we like yeah, so we handed it off to the running back. He started running, and then he did a drop pass to like
That's awesome.
the tight end. So it was crazy.
That's awesome. So that actually kind of brings me to a question that I didn't have on my list, but I want to ask now. We saw the Glacier Boys use a lot of Wildcat last week. Is that something that you would feel comfortable doing if they called upon you to be the quarterback in that situation?
Oh yeah, but we have our like so Slade is mobile enough, we'll say. Um, but we also have Gibby too. Our backup quarterback is very mobile. So
Absolutely.
I would feel more comfortable with even him doing that because that's his position. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I'd rather help my team where they need me more than there at slot, but I don't want to take away from slot if I go to quarterback.
Makes
So
perfect sense.
yeah, so if we needed it, like God forbid something happened and we down to the third string, then yeah, because I feel like I know the plays and I could do enough. It might not be pretty, but we can possibly get the job done.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, yes, you could do it. No, you wouldn't jump on the opportunity if it was, floated out there,
Yeah, exactly.
basically. Okay. So
This
I
is a
read in
different level.
another
This ain't high
interview.
school.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
I said this is just a different level. This isn't high school anymore.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. It's not even close, to be quite honest. I read in another interview you did with the Telegram.com that in the summer of 2015, you actually lost your family
Pardon me.
home in a fire. In turn, also losing your personal belongings. Not long after this event, your father also got sick, and you were forced to step away from school for a year. Um, Was it even a consideration for you to stay in school, or was it a foregone conclusion that, hey, my family needs me, I'm going to be there for them?
Oh yeah, so no, yeah, that was a difficult time, and I was thinking about that, but it's so much harder to like go back to school if you don't. But definitely taking the season off. It was very different because it your family needs you, so you got to make that decision. But it definitely affects the years coming after that, and you can see that because when I came back, and it's like it wasn't the same role that I had, and especially that year that I left. I think Deontay had like a tough year injury wise, so it might have been a bigger year for me to help out with the team, and we ended up losing the in the conference championships that year. So that was tough, but like at the end of the day, you got to do what your family needs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I thought it was very admirable of you to step aside and do what your family needed, despite how it might affect you in your, ultimate goals as a person. I mean, that just kind of shows that you're um, your family first, your team first. You're about others more than
Yeah,
you're
team
about
guy.
yourself. So, I mean, I thought it was very worth highlighting as about you as a person.
I appreciate that honestly. Yeah, I try to
Absolutely.
be a we guy, not a me guy. That's
Absolutely.
even in semi-pro. That's what we stressed.
I like it. I like it. By the way, how is your father doing these days?
Oh, he's doing well. He's doing well. So he was able to get some type of medicine where he was able to almost not. It was like I'm thinking of the wrong. I'm trying to think of the right word, but it's almost like a sample, like a trial type medicine.
Gotcha.
And so since it was like a free medicine, and it did well. So he continues to be on it. Since he was a sample of it, he was able to go and he didn't have to worry about paying for it and stuff. So
That's
it basically stagnant. So it's good. Like he works out fine. My dad had me young, so he caught it young too. So
that's
he's
awesome.
doing well. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. When I saw that, I had to ask. So, in 2017, you kind of just prefaced it. You return as a junior, but you don't end up playing much that season. This was partially due to your year away. Um, was there a coaching situation that led to that, or was there just other players on the roster they were trying to highlight at the time, or?
I think it was just people that's been there now a couple years, and it was just trying to fit in a role. And I think that year too, I had like 2 touchdowns get called back, so it just was like it was like a tough year because it was just like not the same role, but you feel like you could play the same, but your team wins. So then it goes again with that we versus like not me guy.
Yeah.
So it's like okay, it's not about me, but we did win a championship and we did become like number 8 in the nation, you know. So
Yep.
it is what it is.
There you go. Definitely understand. With that being said, you walk into the following season, your last season in college, and what would ultimately be your most productive year. You had a total of 41 offensive touches for 473 yards and 2 touchdowns, and you also got an attempt in the return game for an additional 26 yards. How did it feel to finally have like a breakout season right before you left college?
No, it was good. I mean, at this point, like I'm the older guy, so they needed me, so I needed to step up. The year could have been even bigger because it says I played 10, but I only played 8 games because I missed 2 at the end, and it was just I actually was splitting time again with somebody, and I don't think that I should have been splitting time at this point. I thought it was clear, but that's it was new coaches, so you know when you kind of bring in your guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it was one of those. So splitting time, I had 400 yards, so I did what I could. Always could do more, but it felt good because, like I said, now I'm playing with Tay. It just stinks because we didn't win. We didn't make it to the nationals. So now it's like when it was our team, we weren't able to do it. You know.
absolutely. Absolutely. So in 2019, you leave college, you enter the 2019 NFL draft. You end up going undrafted along with your teammate Deontay Harris. Talk to me about your process after the draft. What teams and leagues reached out to you, and where did you end up for the 2019 season?
So 2019, I actually after that season. So right before that season, I had ankle surgery, and then after that season, I also had an ankle surgery. So I was just like, oh, I'm gonna get ready for the 2020, and then that's when the COVID hit. So then that happened, and then now it's like I'm trying to get into pro days, but I'm not. I don't have enough film. I don't have enough where people are trying to get allowing me to come to the pro days. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. And now I haven't played football. So then that takes me to the 21 season, where I finally just my family's like come play, so I go play semi pro.
Gotcha. And that was the Worcester Wildcats, correct?
Worcester.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, as you said, it's a semi-pro team. How did this opportunity come about? Was it literally your family just said that, "Hey, I'm playing on this team, and you should come check it out," or was it a thing where the coaches wanted your family member to reach out? Or
Oh no, yeah, it's the city. So like you our city it's big enough, but like I know like they've been my cousin's been playing for a couple years and stuff, and I just didn't want to do it in the sense that if I did that, then I was saying like, okay, I was done with football. But now this year, I had a different mindset. Was not saying that I'm done with football, but let me use this to make sure that I can still play football at a high level. Like if I go to this league, I should dominate this league if I want to continue my football career. Like if I go here and I don't dominate, then maybe I should just call it quits, you know?
gotcha.
And so that was the mindset. I'm gonna use this as a stepping stone. Make sure my ankle is strong, and then meanwhile have fun with my family, my friends.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which obviously you kind of did use it as a stepping stone because in 2022 you ended up getting an offer from the Fan Control Football League. How did that come about? Were you at the open tryout?
Yeah. So what happened was so I'm working out at a place called Exceed up north, and Andrew Jamil, one of the like stars from the FCF, is working out with me, and he actually played at Stonehill in my conference, but I don't know him too well until like we start working out. And he's like, I'm like, what are you about to do, bro? And he's like, I'm about to go over to the Fan Control Football. I'm about to go back. And I'm like, oh, shoot. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yo, there's 2 trials left. He's like, Orlando and Atlanta. And I'm like, you know what? I'll go to the Atlanta. That's the last one. Give me a little bit more time. And then I went to Atlanta trial, and then it was history after that.
Absolutely. That's quite interesting. I've known quite a few players that got their chances off that Atlanta tryout. So did you ever line up one-on-one with Quantez Stiggers at that tryout?
So I didn't line up with Quantez, but I lined up with like Darius Dokes, every DB, Mike Lee, um, Deshaun. So every DB that we went, because we had like 5 people doing one-on-ones, they all ended up here.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna
we
say
ended
there's
up
a
doing,
ton of guys signed from that group.
yeah, yeah. We had a lot of guys come from that last Atlanta tryout.
Yeah, absolutely,
But I
absolutely.
seen Quantez and I was like, oh, I was like, he's aggressive for sure. I saw him one time.
Yeah, it seems like everybody seems like they saw him at some point and they're like, oh, that guy's going to make it in the league. But I'm sure it was mutual with DBs looking at you as a receiver. They're like, hey, this guy's going to dominate once he gets a chance. So, I mean, I'm sure it's the opposite way around as well.
Oh yeah. It's a mutual respect.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and play some of your highlights. This is literally just the video you posted earlier.
Okay, yep. So so this is a mix of the
Gotcha.
FCF and my semi a little bit.
Gotcha.
I did the semi to show like the big field.
Makes sense. Makes sense. That's I like it. You got to
Yeah. So
show the
right there.
outdoor game as well as the arena game. Beautiful catch.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's amazing, man. You just lay out and grab it like that. And it's obviously something you do quite often. We actually talked about that backflip. That was kind of crazy to see live.
I appreciate that. And then I came out the backfield here.
Just flips galore. I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So you end up in the FCF and you find yourself drafted 5th overall. Did you have any idea you would be selected that high? And what do you think led to that?
So there's a thing called the Man Up Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that Man Up Challenge, and me and my quarterback that I have, we won it the first week. So I think that was just an eye opener because it's tough for the fans because they kind of just go off of hearsay because like you can post practice film and stuff, but of course everyone's gonna post their best plays. So to know who actually is like the top receiver and stuff, that's really hard. So I think I was just referencing that Man Up Challenge, and I think like I said, the fans saw that, and it's a fan based league, so they saw that what I was able to do, and they want to get that on their team.
All right, so Tyus, we just talked about how you were drafted 5th overall by the FCF Zappers and the team that held Johnny Manziel and Terrell Owens, for that matter. Which other teams have you played with this season so far, given the redraft style the FCF has?
So I got drafted originally by the Zappers, but then I ended up getting picked up by the Shoulda Been Stars, and I ended up going for a second week Man Up Challenge again with my quarterback. So and he got franchised with the Shoulda Been Stars the first week. So he basically told them to draft me the second week. Like he felt comfortable and he wanted us to be able to keep that connection during the game. So that's how that worked out.
Okay. So the Should Have Been Stars and the Zappers are the two teams you've played with. That's awesome. That's awesome. So Slade Jarman, Johnny Manziel, pretty solid quarterbacks. You are now heading into the playoffs in your first ever season with the FCF. It seems to me your teams find success no matter where you go. Is there something about your mentality you believe rubs off on teammates that helps breed this winning atmosphere?
I think it's like that we guy, not a me guy mentality. We actually play as a team here. Like the quarterback distributes the ball. We watch film on our own, like together as a unit. We do extra walkthroughs together as a unit. So I think that's the reason why. And it's just not being there's a lot of big names in this league and not having one of those big names. I feel like we have to work harder. And that's what it's been like throughout my career is like the other people, like I said, on paper, they might look better. But when it comes down to this, who's gonna produce? And the people that produce are gonna be the people that work hard. And I'm a firm believer in 2 Corinthians 9, verse 6, it says, so the point is this, those who sow sparingly also reap sparingly, and those who sow bountifully also reap bountifully. So the work that you put in is gonna produce. That's what you reap. So and I believe that me and my quarterback have that same mindset. And if all guys can get like that, then it's just gonna reap success. So that's pretty much me at the FCF and everything I've been doing thus far. and hopefully that leads to us to make it to the championship and to win that.
All right, guys. So with these issues that we were having, we're going to go ahead and call it quits here. I will fix all this in the edit tomorrow morning. And once again, Tyis, man, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for bearing with me through the issues that we just had. And honestly, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on in such short notice, because normally I do try to give these guys like 3 weeks notice, but it was one of those situations where, unfortunately, I had somebody cancel on me last minute due to some personal issues, and they decided that they couldn't do the show with me. I'm not privy to what information caused that. But with that being said, Tyis was awesome enough to hop on and allow me to interview him in that other guy's place. But with that being said, I'm actually kind of happy it happened that way, because Tyis is an awesome dude, and he's a hell of an athlete. So if you haven't checked out the highlight videos that I showed earlier, definitely check out the edited version of this interview. I'll make sure to get everything fixed and hopefully make it look like nice and seamless, unlike all of this that just occurred. But with that being said, once again, Tyis, I really appreciate you jumping on and coming on with me, man. This was an embarrassing set of mistakes when it comes to the StreamYard program, especially for your first experience with it. So definitely not too thrilled with how this went as far as quality wise on the service part. But with that being said, it's one of those things, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off for the night. You guys have a great night. Like I said, the edited version of this will be up tomorrow morning on YouTube, so definitely catch that there. With that being said, have a great night. And once again, I apologize for the issues we had.
I'm weaving, I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grieving. Put your foot on the gas, no, never stop competing, yeah. I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep them out your face, no way, you don't want them, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy. The enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me. I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading